C grade, D grade, E grade, F grade movies that get lots of certificates from the censor board. How come all of that is sanskari? That's Indian culture, is it?
Basically, it's
No,
not
that's Indian culture.
sanskari.
Pardon me?
It's we.
Would you say no?
If you would let me speak, I'd be very happy. Otherwise, if you did not want to listen, it would be quite well.
Sir,
okay
don't
with
censor
me.
me. You can't censor me.
But
this
what
is
I
not
would
your
like to
censor
ask
board
you-
meeting. For God's sake, Mr. Baker,
Well, you.
don't do this. Don't do this. This is not your censor board meeting.
For God's sake, Mr. Arnab Goswami, as you talk of freedom of speech, I also have the freedom to talk.
Yes. So tell me, no. Tell me.
I also have the freedom to talk. I very much agree with Mr. Pandit.
Yes.
And I also say that too much censorship is not good.
Okay.
But it should be at that level where it is acceptable.
Parameter. Mr. Baker, who will
If it
decide
is
that
something
parameter?
that we don't
What is
do,
too much and what is
I mean,
too less
I
and what
wonder,
is less?
Mr. Pandit, when you attend any function, Mr. Pandit, when you attend any function, do you use any cuss words? If you are annoyed in any way
What function are we
with
talking
the
what function are we
organizers or
talking
with
about?
anyone else,
Are we talking
I'm
about
sure
marriage
you
functions
don't.
and
Your
birthday
education
functions?
will
What
not
functions are we
permit
talking
that.
about? Yeah? We are talking about cinema. Mr. Baker, we are not talking about functions. We are not talking about marriage
Any
functions and
functions,
parties.
any
No,
meetings.
depends what kind of people we are. We use words and leave, leave that to the
any
people,
meetings.
Mr. Baker.
Any meetings.
Mr. Baker, leave that to the people to decide what I want to hear and what I don't want to hear.
come to the debate.
Mr. Pandit,
Mr. Pandit,
No, one second. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute.
I tell you very
No,
frankly,
you have turned
I
into
agree with
Mr.
certain
Baker.
things.
Mr. Baker. Mr.
I
Baker,
agree
I
with
understand.
certain
I
things
understand.
that
No,
we
Mr.
in
Baker,
the
1
board
minute.
have
Mr.
decided.
Baker, Mr. Baker, understand. Is cinema in India only for family viewing? Question number 1. Is abusive language in fictional works of art in India prohibited? Should we be a progressive country in the 21st century? Or are movies in India meant to depict an idealistic world where everybody from every walk of life and across every demography speaks in a politically correct language? Tomorrow, by that logic, books, paintings, poems. You should have a sanskari poem censor board.
No.
You should
I
have a
will not
sanskari.
talk of books. I
Hey,
will
what?
not talk
No,
of
you
books.
should. You should.
I will
No,
not.
why should you not? Why should you not, Mr. Baker? You tell me, Mr. Baker, very clearly
May I
tonight.
say it?
No, you tell me,
Will you
Mr.
let me
Baker.
say it?
Tell me 1 second, Mr. Baker. You say you are a
You tell me,
sanskari
Mr.
man.
Goswami,
Why should
would
your
you
sanskar
use these
be
words in
limited to
front of your
movies?
father and
Go. No, Mr. Baker, it is not correct. Your sanskar
I'm
must
not
be
saying
extended to
sanskari.
every walk of
there
life.
should
I
be
say.
limits. You have no right.
No, Mr. Baker, what right do you have?
It has to
You
be
tell me, Mr.
extended.
Baker, why should
But
all
I'm
cinema in
saying-
India, even in cases in which they are not made in
Well,
India,
Mr. Goswami, what right have you?
be snipped,
What
altered,
right have
edited,
you to
and
morally police the censors?
who are you, Mr. Baker? You're not even a censor board. You understand?
No,
You're a
just a minute.
certification board.
Mr.
No,
Mr.
Mr. Baker,
Mr.
you're taking yourself too seriously. The
Mr.
problem with you,
Goswami.
Mr. Baker, Mr. Baker, there is a problem you have.
Arrogance.
I'll tell you your problem. You think you have
The
arrived.
problem with you, Mr.
The
Goswami,
problem is that you think you have arrived.
have a program of
Mr.
30
Baker,
minutes.
Mr. Baker, I'm
and
telling
talk
you,
for 25
Mr.
minutes.
Baker, I'm telling
People
you,
don't
you
get a
are
chance to say anything.
completely and totally irrelevant.
No.
You think you have arrived. You are simply a
have got-
government
you
nominee
have
on
got
what is
an
a
inherent
certification board.
capability
You have no
of
right,
utilizing
especially
25
not your
minutes
chief.
of his-
You are a
of his
psychophant
show
to your
with
chief,
your
Mr.
voice,
Baker.
not the
You
voice
just
of the
want to
people
toe
whom you
that
are
line
asking
because you
questions
think
to.
it will get someone's approval. You think you are there to snip, cut, alter, edit everything to fit your liking and your moral
Mr.
approval.
Goswami,
And I
who are
don't need
you
your
to sit
approval,
on
Mr.
judgment
Baker.
on my opinions?
Mr. Baker, who are you?
You are nobody
Mr.
to sit
Baker,
on
but who are
judgment
you?
on
For
my
God's sake,
opinions.
identify yourself.
My opinions
Share
are my
your
opinions.
qualifications
You are
tonight
nobody
to be
to judge.
moral guardian of India. Tell me. Tell us. Viewers are watching across India tonight. George Baker will tell us now, full frame on the screen.
I'm not the moral guardian of
Full frame
India.
on the
I'm
screen,
not the
George
moral-
Baker, Sanskari
Mr.
Censor Board
Mr.
member, will
Goswami
tell
are not the
us why he is
Justice
the
of
moral
the
guardian of
Chief
India.
Justice of
You
the
have 1
Supreme
minute to
Court
tell our
or the
viewers
Chief
why you should be
Justice of
moral guardian of
society in
India.
the country.
Please start. Your time starts now. Tell the viewers why you should be the moral guardian of India.
I am
Your
not-
unique qualifications in order to perform that role, Mr. Baker. The time starts now. 1 minute. Please start. Start.
For a very simple reason, I will tell you that I do not want to be a moral policeman. I just want to be a civil human being. and there are things which I would not do publicly.
Civil human being.
I am afraid that people sit behind the cameras and microphones and keep judging the censor board. But at the same time, they censor our conversations
No,
when we are
no,
on
Mr.
shows
Baker,
like yours,
Mr. Baker,
where you
Mr.
talk
Baker,
for about 25 minutes.
Mr. Baker,
and
now,
the remaining
Mr.
7 or
Baker,
8
I'll tell you
people get a
couple
chance
of.
to
Now
fight
we'll open up the debate.
Thank you very
Roshan
much for
Abbas
your 1
opening
minute,
from the
Mr.
other side.
Goswami.
And by
It's
the way,
very kind
Mr.
of
Baker,
you.
Mr. Baker, this is an act of cowardice on national television on your part. When you have appointed yourself as the moral guardian, I'm giving you an opportunity to explain to the people of India
Yes,
why
I
you
may
and
be
only
a
you should
coward.
be qualified
I
to
may
be a
be
moral
a
guardian of
coward,
India.
but I'm
And I'll tell you
frank
why,
enough
Mr.
to
Baker.
tell people
I'll tell you why, Mr. Baker. People
that-
like you think you are the moral guardian of
I'm
India
not a moral
because you have
guardian of
essentially
India, not
linked.
at all,
You
not at
listen,
all,
Mr.
Mr.
Baker.
Goswami. I'm
Listen
not
to
a
the other
moral
side
guardian.
tonight and let